Good morning. So I'm doing a quick, it's not technically an unboxing because it's already unboxed, but I'm going to do a quick overview of a new little router box that arrived this morning. This is running an Intel i7 11th gen, so it's an 1165G7. It has 6 2.5 gig Ethernet ports on it. It has 4 USB 3 ports. I'm guessing they're USB 3. That blue. There's a HDMI port. There's a COM port, which I think is actually a component, or which is actually an actual COM port, as opposed to an Ethernet port. I'll find that out. You have power and you have everything else. I'm going to swap over to the overhead cam so you can actually see this possibly a bit better. So you've got your component port, you've got your 2 USB or COM port, 4 USB power. There's a reset switch. You've got your indicator lights, and you've got HDMI. It's a fairly heavy bit of kit. And then again on the front you have 6. These are 2.5 gig Ethernet ports on here. Now, what also arrived in the box was power brick, standard enough switching mode power supply, 3 amps, so 100 to 240 volt, 50 to 60 hertz, 1.5 amps, and its output 12 volt, 5 amps. What also arrived in the box is SATA and power to, so a SATA port and a small little power cable to your SATA connector doohickey. Standard UK Irish plug, 3-prong plug. They got a load of mounting hardware. So you've got standoffs and screws and everything else. There is a metally thing, and there is a more different metally thing. I don't know what these are for. Oh, actually, do you know what? That might be for mounting this. What could that be? Oh, it's magnetic, is it? No, it's just the way. This something feels magnetic, or maybe it's the rubber. Oh, do you know what? It's the rubber feet. It's getting stuck in the rubber feet. Anyway, I think that's like a vase mount. Won't be any use to me, but anyway, somebody might find it handy, useful. So now let's get this thing opened and we have a look and we see what's inside it. Now, I haven't gone down the route of buying an LTT screwdriver. I'm just using a standard screwdriver. This does not have a ratchet mechanism. Also, it does have a sticky thing, magnetic sticky thing on it, which is handy. Probably the reason why I bought it back when I bought it. Now, let's have a look. There are 4 screws on the bottom of this, and I apologise if the audio on this is bad. I am recording the audio with the microphone out of the MacBook, so it's, yeah. Okay, so 4 screws on the bottom, opens, and inside we have, okay, interesting. So we have a 16 gig stick of DDR4 2666 memory. So it's a single 16 gig stick, and I have a funny feeling this might take 2. I possibly have some spare memory somewhere. I'm gonna have to have a look. We also have a Union, what's this thing called? So it's a Union memory, 128 gig Gen 3 NVMe, which is a close up of the insides of this machine. So there's a Union memory NVMe, 128 gig NVMe in here. You have a place for, so, okay, let me see. I'm gonna swap camera angles. So we have a place for a fan header with looks of things. We have the place for our, that's the power for running your SATA device, and then you've got a SATA adapter here as well. So if you wanted to add an external, or well, an internal drive of some sort, I'm gonna make an educated guess that one of these doohickeys, shouldn't have done that. I'm gonna make an educated guess that that is probably going to be used to hold the drive in here somehow. Not sure how exactly, but that would be a guess. So you can run your power connector there. I seem to have changed views somehow, but anyway, you run your power connector and you then run your SSD or your SATA connector, and then somewhere in here you can then mount your 2.5 inch drive. Nice feature here. So all of the drive, or all of the 2.5 gig Ethernet ports internally are labeled with their MAC address to make sure you can figure out which one is which. Nice feature. Tell you the truth, I would have probably preferred those labels to be on the front. So you have your LAN ports, your LAN 1 to 6, if you had your labels on the front of it, because if you're trying to figure out which port is which, it would have made it a little bit easier if those were on the outside. So yeah, that's all you can see at this stage. I will have to, it looks like there's a bit more taking apart to try and get to other bits. Hang on. There is a large pin array here. Now it looks like at the moment there are 2 jumpers on it, and that's it. But there's no indication of what that pin array actually does. There's a listing, there's something here that says COM1 SEL. That's all it says. So it'd be interesting to figure out what that is. Not only that, also as an interesting side note, is this looks like a DC power input. By the way, on some industrial boards you see a DC input of some sort where you can actually just plug in 2 power cables, or two wires to charge something. That's what that is looking like. So yeah, also interesting, under the SSD you have a SIM card. Yep, there is a SIM card slot under the SSD. Now there's nowhere to put another M2 adapter anywhere. Hang on, let me have a look. Okay, so that's the memory. Standard, crucial, and it's nice that it's crucial. So 16 gig, DDR4, 2600, so 2666 sold in. Let's take out the SSD. Because what could possibly go wrong? Well, I could lose the screw. Just as I'm about to spill my coffee. Nespresso store, not LTT. It's funny how that has become such a meme. Okay, so there is the NVMe M2 SSD. It's 128 gig. It is PCIe Gen 3. Union memory. No other details other than that. What would you call that? 42? Something? What do they usually call these? Something or other, isn't it? There is a type. SSSD or 27340. That's not it. A610 M2. Okay. Now, let's have a look. So, underneath you do have a, that is a proper SIM card reader under there. But you do not have, well, at least on this side, there is no option for you to add an extra device, so Wi-Fi or an extra Wi-Fi card or a reader, an S, or so a Wi-Fi card or a, what you call it, reader, a 3G or a 4G or 5G for that matter slot. Now I wasn't planning this, but I'm now going to go further. Now this might not actually go as planned, because under here there is the place where the CPU, so because this is fanless, I wish my camera would stop trying to autofocus. Because this is a fanless device, basically under here where the CPU is, it attaches to the outside heat plate. So essentially, I'm not sure if I'm going to affect anything when it comes to that's assuming I can actually get into this thing. Hold on. Might have to crack open the iFixit kit. Well, I say might have to, as I am cracking open the iFixit kit, because weirdly enough, that screwdriver, the tip on it is a little bit too big to fit into where I need to fit it into, if that makes sense. iFixit kit screwdriver for the win. It does fit. Now this will now be my second 6-port 2.5 gig device that I'm adding to my network. The other one I have, has a Celeron of some sort. I don't know what the Celeron is. And I have to take a few more screws out of this because I can't figure out how to take anything else out. So when in doubt, just start removing screws till, well, there's either when in doubt, start removing screws or continue removing screws until either there's no more screws left or you've gotten to where you need to go, or both. Okay, so here we go. I found thermal glue. I have also found where that secondary card goes. Interesting. Okay, so on the bottom of the board you have another card slot, M2. No details on what exactly this is yet, but this is at the bottom. It's the same size roughly. Interestingly, you have a little standoff here, or a little connector here, which looks like that's connected probably magically to this, I would think. So if you are putting in a Wi-Fi card, or you are putting in a 3G connector, it will connect to that. There doesn't seem to be any external aerial connectors anywhere. Yeah, I can't see any external aerial connectors. So we just got this little doohickey here. Now, as I said, that may possibly be where that connects. They have handily put in a little place for the screw and the mount to hold, so if you do add in an extra device, you've got your screw here. At least that's what it looks like it's for. So yeah, that is a really tiny little board. Now, compared to something like an Intel NUC, hold on, where's my NUC? Give me 2 seconds. Yeah, this is on, so this might not end well. Give me a second. Damn it! Oh, my overhead camera has gone looking somewhere. Okay, you stay there. So this is my NUC. Now this is an HNI3, sorry. It has the same memory. So this is using 16 gig DDR4. So yeah, it has a bigger SSD, but board wise this is actually slightly bigger. So the NUC's board is that bit bigger than this one. The NUC is also running quite hot as well at the moment. So this is running Proxmox, and there's a couple of VMs running on this currently, hence the reason why it's on. I'll put it back where it belongs. Hopefully I haven't broken anything. But yeah, so interesting. So we do have an extra slot at the bottom for stuff. That's your main chip. So as I said, it's an i7 1165G 1165G7. Now hold on, what is an 1165G7 exactly? 1165G7. So on the Intel Arc, it is telling me, and I should have been smart and added an extra overlay device so you could see this, but one of these days I'll get this right. So this is a 4-core, 8-thread, 4.7 gigahertz. Max turbo is 4.7. 12 mega cache. Configurable TDP of 28. Configurable TDP up to 28, down to 12. So it'll be interesting to see what it's set as in the BIOS, and more importantly, can it be changed? Because I mean, TDP configurable base frequency, as I said, 2.8 is the base. It can go down as far as 1.2, and it's got a turbo of 4.7. You can take up to 64 gigs of RAM. So I do have spare memory floating around here, so I might be able to get this to at least 24, possibly to 32. I know I do have spare RAM from machines that we had upgraded from 16 to 32, laptops that we had upgraded from 16 to 32. So I know I have a couple of spare 8s. I don't know if I've got any spare 16s, but we can go rooting and see what I can find. So yeah, all in, it's a great little board. Well, so far anyway. Question comes down to, can I put this back together without wrecking anything? I don't know what I would put in that bottom slot. This is going to be acting as a router, but it's not a router that I need Wi-Fi access on. Essentially, this is a it's these ones, I think. Now the phone part, put it back together. Anyway, oh sorry, boring. So this will be acting as a router, but it will not need Wi-Fi. And the reason why it won't need Wi-Fi is because I have ubiquity Wi-Fi access points everywhere in the house, and including out into the shed. So I am covered Wi-Fi wise there, essentially. So the only what I need this to act as a hardwired router. So the plan would be hook up I have cable modem and I have fibre to the home, and I run MikroTik. I have a MikroTik router. I have two MikroTik routers actually on the Celeron version of this, and they are doing, one does PPPoE connections. My fibre to the home connection comes in handed off at 2.5 gig a second. It's a 2 gig link, but it's handed off at 2.5 gig a second, and it is set up to run. It then hands off, or it's set up on as part of my broadband connection I have my ISP provides me with a block of IP addresses. I have a block of what is the block? /29 of IP addresses assigned by my ISP. So when I connect over PPPoE, I get a single static IP address over that, and then they route the /29 over PPP or over that connection. So the MikroTik router OS that I'm running takes the first IP of that /29 basically and assigns it to itself on an internal port, and then from there I then have excuse me bloody memory is fiddly. Okay, so that's one in. Give me a second. Okay. Interesting. So after putting that in, I'm going to have to take it back out again, because I have just found ripsaw memory. So obviously I did have spare. So this is 2666 CL19 1943. This does not say anything about that, and it's 2666 DDR4, and it seems I might as well go with 32 gigs of RAM in this, since, well, why the hell wouldn't you? This is going to be running Proxmox, so it's not, what you call it, it's not just acting as a router. It'll be running Proxmox, and there will be multiple VMs running on top of it. One of them will be MikroTik running PPPoE, one of them is going to be MikroTik running BGP, one is possibly going to be my open sense router. There might be some other bits and pieces running on this as well by the time I'm finished with it. So yeah. What was I saying before I got distracted by memory? Oh yeah, how the PPPoE stuff is run. So ISP hands me off a PPPoE connection. I connect over that. It then gives me a static IP. Said static IP is assigned to the said static IP is assigned, and I think I figured out how this works actually. That static IP then has a route with /29 assigned to it. That /29, the first IP, is assigned to the one of the Ethernet ports on the box. Anything inside of the network on that particular VLAN, because I have then that VLAN'd off, anything that's on that particular VLAN can then get an IP address and use the first IP of that range as its gateway, which is the MikroTik. So then all traffic hits MikroTik, from the MikroTik gets out to the internet. When somebody on the internet is looking for that particular range, they go to Black Knight, which is my IP. That then says it's on that particular IP address. It hits the MikroTik, and the MikroTik then says, okay, there's the rest of the /29 subnet. So yeah, complicated, but works perfectly. Well, it's not complicated at all. There's documentation on how to do it, so that's what I used, and I figured this out. So essentially, this goes somewhere inside of that board that attaches, and then you would use these standoffs to then allow you to attach a 2.5-inch hard drive, either an SSD or a speedy disk, whatever you want, and then you can mount that inside of the box, and then from there then you're good to go, and you can then do whatever you need to do. So yeah, happy days. So I don't know what this thing is called. I said slagging that I was going to call it Frank. I don't think it's going to be named Frank. Proxmox 3. It's probably going to be its correct name. Where's this go? Okay, so I have Intel Look, and that ain't good. Where's that off? It seems my right Atlas has gone missing in action. I'm gonna have to go digging and find out why. Anyway, ignoring the fact that the right Atlas is offline for the moment. Yeah, so that's Frank, whatever I'm calling him. It's not Frank. I think I've decided to call this i7-6x2.5G 6x2-5G Proxmox, or something along those lines. Something that'll help me figure out which one I'm looking at. But it's handy. There are ports for adding external antennas if you wanted. As I said, I don't think I will be doing the whole external antenna thing. I don't need Wi-Fi. I have actual modems that are designed for, I have actual, so Netgear something or others, they're Netgear LB2120s, which do the 4G connections for backups and everything else. So I'll probably be, if I need an LTE connection for this, I'll be using them. I've got two of them floating around here. I can add in my external whatever I need, basically. And yeah, so my next task is to get this up and running. If you follow me on Twitter, I'm at TIERNANO. I'll put a link in the description. I also blog on a couple of different places, and yeah, if you follow me on Twitter, if you follow me on blogs, I might be going to Mastodon. I have no idea. God only knows what's going on with the world these days. I will be somewhere. I will have links, and yeah, so like, subscribe, comment, all the usual jazz, and until next time, good luck.